It was a Tuesday night in March, and I just left my buddy's place in the city after a day that dragged on forever. We'd been wandering around, hitting up new cafes, poking through stores, laughing over dumb stuff until my legs ached and my head felt heavy. By the time I got behind the wheel, it was past midnight, and a thick fog had rolled in, blanketing the highway like something out of a bad dream. I wasn't worried at first, just tired, ready to crash into bed after the hour-long drive home. The road stretched out ahead, lonely and quiet, the kind of stretch where you might see a trucker every 10 miles if you're lucky. Their plates always caught my eye. Odd colors and letters from states I'd never been to, like they were ghosts drifting through the night. My headlights barely cut through the haze, turning the world into a gray smear. I turned the heat up, rubbed my eyes, and told myself to focus. Just keep moving, I muttered, gripping the steering wheel a little tighter. I figured the fog would slow me down, but I didn't care. All I wanted was to get home, kick off my shoes, and forget the day. About 20 minutes in, the highway felt emptier than ever, like the world had vanished behind that wall of fog. I was creeping along, hazards flashing to warn anyone behind me, though I hadn't seen another car in miles. My eyelids drooped, heavy from the day, and I caught myself drifting, the hum of the engine lulling me into a haze. Then, out of nowhere, a shape loomed ahead, a black sedan, half on the shoulder, half on the road, like it'd been abandoned mid-turn. I slammed on the brakes, tires screeching against the wet asphalt, my heart pounding so hard I felt it in my throat. The car lurched to a stop, just inches from its bumper. Holy hell! I gasped, hands trembling as I threw it into park. I sat there, staring at the sedan, its dark frame swallowed by the mist. It didn't move, no lights, no sound, nothing. Just a dead hunk of metal in my way. I took a deep breath, trying to shake off the adrenaline. Probably just broke down. I told myself, but something about it felt off, like it didn't belong here. As my pulse settled, the sedan twitched, its wheels rolled forward a bit, sliding fully onto the shoulder. I blinked, wondering if I'd imagined it, but then the driver's window slid down. An arm poked out, waving me over, slow and deliberate. My gut twisted. They need help, I thought, but my hands stayed glued to the wheel. I edged my car closer, keeping a safe distance, and watched as the sedan turned onto a narrow side road and stopped. The door creaked open, and a guy stepped out, tall, lean, maybe in his 30s, dressed in a black winter jacket and jeans. The fog blurred his edges, but my headlights caught his face. He was smiling, a thin, tight smile that didn't feel right. He walked toward me, hands loose at his sides, and I cracked my window an inch, just enough to hear him. "Hey, where are you headed?" he called, his voice flat, like he didn't care about the answer. "Home," I said, keeping it short. He nodded, still smiling. "Fog's bad tonight. Not safe to drive. I live just down the road, 5 minutes. You can wait it out with me, my wife, my kid?" I didn't like it. Something in his tone, his stare, set my nerves on edge. "I'm good," I said, shaking my head. But that smile stayed plastered on his face, and I couldn't shake the feeling he wasn't asking. He didn't back off. "Fog like this, you're 10 times more likely to crash," he said, stepping closer, his voice sharpening. "You look beat. Think about your family. Wouldn't want them waiting up for nothing." My stomach dropped. Family? I hadn't mentioned anyone. How'd he know I wasn't alone in life? I gripped the wheel tighter, my knuckles white. "I said I'm fine," I snapped, louder this time, hoping he'd get the hint. His smile faltered, just for a second, and his eyes narrowed, like I'd pissed him off. He glanced back at his car, and that's when I saw it. A shadow shifting in the passenger seat. Someone else was in there, someone I hadn't noticed before. My mind raced. What the hell's going on? I thought, every instinct screaming at me to get out of there. He turned back, and I swear his face hardened, like a mask slipping off. "You should really come with me," he said, low and cold. I didn't know what he wanted. Money, my car, something worse. But I wasn't sticking around to find out. My heart was hammering now, a drumbeat I couldn't ignore. Before I could react, he lunged. His hand shot out, grabbing my door handle and yanking hard. The lock held, thank God, but the sound of it rattling sent a jolt through me. "Hey!" I yelled, jerking back in my seat. Then his passenger door flew open, and another guy bolted out. Shorter, stockier, clutching a baseball bat that glinted in my headlights. He charged toward me, raising it high, and I lost it. My hands fumbled for the gear shift, that slamming the car into reverse as the first guy shouted something. Angry, garbled words I couldn't make out. The bat swung down, missing my hood by inches, the whoosh cutting through the fog. I stomped the gas, tires spinning as I backed up blind, praying I wouldn't hit anything in the haze. The second guy kept coming, but I spun the wheel hard, shifted to drive, and floored it, merging back onto the highway in a sloppy, desperate rush. I didn't look back. Couldn't. All I could think was, they're gonna follow me. They're gonna kill me. My chest felt like it'd explode, but I kept driving, the fog swallowing everything behind me. I pushed the car to 50, 60 miles an hour, way too fast for the fog, but stopping wasn't an option. My hands shook so bad I could barely steer, and my breath came in short, ragged bursts. What the hell was that? I kept asking myself, over and over, like saying it out loud would make it make sense. Had they been waiting for me? For anyone? My mind spun wild theories, robbers, psychos, some twisted trap set up for lonely drivers. The highway stayed empty, no headlights in my mirrors, no signs of life, just me in the fog, stretching on forever. After what felt like hours but was probably 10 minutes, I saw the faint glow of a gas station up ahead. I pulled in, parked under the neon sign, and sat there, staring at my hands, waiting for my heart to slow down. I didn't call the cops. What would I even say? 2 guys in the fog tried to get me. No proof, no plates, nothing but my word. I just wanted to forget it, to pretend it never happened. But I couldn't. Not then, not ever. I made it home eventually, crashing through the door and locking it twice, like that'd keep the night out. Sleep didn't come. I just lay there, replaying it all. The guy's smile, the bat swinging down, the shadow in the car. What if I'd rolled the window down more? What if my door hadn't been locked? My brain wouldn't shut off, feeding me nightmares even with my eyes wide open. I kept wondering what they wanted, my wallet, my life, or something I couldn't even imagine. Days later, driving that stretch again, I'd catch myself glancing at the shoulder, half expecting to see that sedan waiting in the mist. It's been months now, and I still don't trust the quiet of a foggy night. I wonder if they're still out there, parked on some lonely road, waiting for the next fool who pulls over. And deep down, I know, I'll never stop looking over my shoulder. You can run from a lot of things, but some nights, the road finds a way to hold on to you. Forever. I've always loved the quiet of a late-night drive. There's something about an empty road that feels like freedom, like the world's holding its breath just for you. That night, I was cutting through the back roads of central Pennsylvania, heading home after a long shift. It was past midnight, and I'd picked this route to dodge the usual traffic snarls. No headlights, no horns, just me and the hum of my old sedan rolling over cracked asphalt. The woods stretched out on both sides, dense and dark, swallowing everything beyond my high beams. I had my favorite podcast playing low, some guy droning on about unsolved mysteries, keeping me company as the miles ticked by. Then it hit me, a sharp ding from the dashboard. Low fuel. My stomach sank a little. I'd been coasting on fumes longer than I should have, figuring I'd hit a station closer to home. Now, out here, I wasn't so sure. I pulled up my Maps app. Weak signal, but it found a gas station a few miles up the road. All right, I muttered to myself, just a quick stop. I didn't like breaking the rhythm of the drive, but running out of gas in the middle of nowhere wasn't an option. The thought of being stranded gnawed at me. What if the phone died too? No one would know where I was. I pushed it down, focusing on the road ahead, telling myself it'd be fine. The gas station came into view like a ghost town relic. Faded sign, flickering lights, a single pump glowing in the dark. It wasn't a chain, just some no-name spot clinging to life between the trees. As I pulled in, I saw him. A guy standing by an old pickup truck, rusty and beat to hell, filling up his tank. He didn't move much, just stood there, hose in hand, staring at me as I parked. Not a glance, not a nod, but a full-on stare. His face was shadowed under a cap, but those eyes caught the light, sharp and unblinking. I got out, locked my car out of habit, and walked past him into the shop. Don't make eye contact, I told myself, feeling that itch on the back of my neck. Inside, I grabbed a coffee, bitter, lukewarm stuff from a pot that'd probably been sitting all night, and paid cash for 20 bucks of gas. The clerk barely looked up from his phone. When I stepped back outside, the guy was climbing into his truck. Good riddance, I thought, watching his taillights fade down the road. I started pumping gas, the cold air biting at my fingers, and tried to shake off the unease. He's just some local weirdo, I reasoned. Probably lives out here and stares at everyone. But that look stuck with me. Too steady, too intentional. I was back on the road maybe a minute when I saw it. Off to the side, half on the grass, half on the shoulder, that same damn pickup truck. No lights, no engine running, just sitting there like it'd been waiting for me. My headlights swept over it as I passed, and I swear I saw the outline of someone inside, slumped low in the driver's seat. "What the hell?" I said out loud, my voice sounding too loud in the car. My pulse picked up, a little thud against my ribs. Had he pulled over for something? A flat tire? Or was he watching me? I kept driving, eyes flicking to the rearview mirror. Nothing moved. The truck stayed dark, a hulking shape fading behind me. I turned the podcast back on, cranking the volume to drown out my thoughts. "You're overreacting," I told myself. "It's late. You're tired. That's all." But my hands gripped the wheel tighter, and I couldn't stop checking the mirror, half expecting those headlights to flare up and follow me. The road felt emptier now, like it was holding a secret I didn't want to know. A few miles later, another ding cut through the podcast. The dashboard lit up, low tire pressure, rear driver's side. "You've got to be kidding me," I groaned, slowing down. Then I heard it, a faint wobble-wobble from the back. I cracked the window, and the sound sharpened, definitely a flat. I pulled over, gravel crunching under the tires, and sat there for a second, staring at the woods. No cars, no houses, just trees and darkness pressing in. I got out, flashlight from my glove box in hand, and checked the tire. Flat as a pancake, no obvious puncture. "Did I hit something?" I muttered, scanning the road behind me. Nothing. Then it hit me. That guy at the gas station. What if he'd done this? Slipped a knife into the rubber while I was inside? My chest tightened. I grabbed my phone, shaky fingers pulling up roadside assistance, when I heard it. A low rumble, an engine, somewhere down the road. No headlights, just the sound, growing closer, then cutting off. Silence again. I froze, breath fogging in the cold. "It's nothing," I whispered, but my gut screamed otherwise. Swung the flashlight down the road, nothing but black. Then I remembered the SOS light my dad gave me years ago, stuffed in the trunk. I fumbled through my toolbox, pulled it out, and flicked it on. The beam was stronger, slicing through the dark, and there it was, a glint off metal, maybe 200 feet back. That truck again, parked on the shoulder, headlights off. My heart slammed into my throat. This wasn't a coincidence. I didn't think. I just ran. Dropped the flashlight, bolted into the woods, branches snagging at my jacket. I ducked behind a thick bush, knees sinking into the dirt, and dialed 911. "There's someone following me," I whispered when the operator picked up. "I think he slashed my tire. He's out there now." She asked questions, description, license plate, but I could barely think. Then I heard it. The truck's engine roared to life, headlights snapping on, blinding through the trees. It rolled up next to my car, stopped. A door creaked open. "You need some help?" A voice called, calm and deep. I pressed myself lower, dirt smearing my hands. "Don't answer," I begged myself. "He knows I'm here." The operator was still talking. "Stay hidden. Police are on the way," when the call dropped. No bars, no signal. I cursed under my breath, clutching the phone like it could save me. Footsteps crunched closer, slow and steady, then stopped. I held my breath, peering through the bush. The guy stood by my car, a shadow under the headlights, head tilted like he was listening. My mind raced. He'd done this. He'd planned this. What did he want? To rob me? Worse? Worse? Then another engine hummed. Headlights swept the road. A second truck, newer, slowed down. I heard voices, muffled at first, then clearer. "Just helping a buddy out," the guy said, casual as hell. That's when I snapped. I stumbled out of the woods, legs shaking, and yelled, "Help! I don't know him." Both men turned. "He slashed my tire. He's been following me." The new driver stared, then glared at the guy. "That true?" he asked. The guy muttered something, bolted to his truck, and peeled out, tires screeching as he vanished down the road. I stood there, panting, relief and terror crashing together. "He's gone," I whispered, but it didn't feel real. The second driver got out, checked my tire, clean cut, no doubt about it. "Looks like you're right," he said, shaking his head. He offered me a ride, but I waved him off. Cops were coming. I'd wait. Sure enough, a patrol car rolled up minutes later, lights flashing. I spilled everything: the gas station, the truck, the tire. The officer nodded, said he'd checked the station's cameras, took my number. The tow truck came after, hauled my car to a shop where my dad picked me up later. I never heard back from the cop. Guess the footage didn't show much. Back home, I couldn't sleep. Every creak in the house, every shadow outside made me jump. I kept seeing that guy's eyes, picturing him out there, waiting for another chance. Maybe he was just a creep who got off on scaring people. Maybe it was worse. I don't know. But that night, alone on that road, I felt it. Something hunting me, something I barely escaped. I don't take those back roads anymore. And when I drive at night, I keep my eyes on the mirrors, wondering if he's still out there, watching. You have experienced a different life, a phenomenon that you cannot explain. Why? If so, share your story in the comments section below, because someone out there has also experienced the same thing. Don't be afraid to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because the next story could be even more interesting. Share your story. I'd been on the road for hours, the city lights of the East Coast fading into a distant memory as I headed north toward the mountains. It was late, past midnight, maybe 1 a.m., and the cold bit at my knuckles through the cracked leather of my gloves. My old truck, a beat-up thing I'd nursed through too many breakdowns, rattled along the snowy highway, loaded with snowboarding gear in the back. I was chasing a weekend of freedom, a chance to carve up the slopes with a buddy at his cabin. The world outside was a blur of white snow falling in thick, relentless sheets, and the road stretched out empty ahead of me. I liked it that way. No traffic, no noise, just me and the hum of the engine. But there was this itch in the back of my mind, a quiet worry about the truck. It'd been in the shop too many times, and I couldn't shake the thought, what if it quits on me out here? I turned up the heat, watching my breath fog less with each mile, telling myself I was almost there. 45 minutes, tops. I could make it. The trouble started subtle, like a whisper you don't notice until it's too late. The dashboard lit up red, the temperature gauge spiking into the danger zone. My stomach dropped. I eased off the gas, the truck groaning as it slowed, and pulled onto the shoulder. Snow piled up fast around the tires, and the engine hissed like it was pissed at me for pushing it this far. I popped the hood, stepped out into the biting wind, and squinted through the dark. Useless. Couldn't see a damn thing under there, not with snow swirling in my face and no light but the faint glow of my headlights. I climbed back in, restarted the engine, and prayed it'd hold. It didn't. 5 minutes down the road, that needle shot up again, mocking me. I was stuck, miles from anywhere, no bars on my phone, no way to call for help. I sat there, hands gripping the wheel, feeling the weight of it sink in. Alone. Stranded. The kind of alone that makes your chest tight, like the mountains were closing in to swallow me whole. I let the truck idle, the heat barely keeping the chill at bay, and stared out into the blackness. No cars, no houses, just snow and trees and a road that felt like it led to nowhere. Then, after what felt like forever, headlights pierced the dark, slow and steady, coming my way. Relief hit me first, sharp and sudden. I waved my arms, hazards flashing, desperate for them to stop. It was a small car, some rusted-out Toyota, and the driver rolled down his window as I jogged over. "Thanks for stopping," I said, voice shaky from the cold. "My truck's overheating. Can I borrow your phone?" He didn't smile, just nodded, his face half hidden in shadow. "What happened?" he asked, voice low, almost too calm. I explained, keeping it short, and then he said it. "You out here all alone?" My throat tightened. "Yeah," I muttered, not liking how exposed that made me feel. He handed me his phone, and I noticed his eyes, fixed on me, unblinking, like he was sizing me up. I forced a smile, dialed my buddy, then a tow company, all while his stare burned into me. I didn't look back at him. Couldn't. Something about him felt off, like he wasn't just some good Samaritan passing by. I handed the phone back, thanked him again, and he just said, "You're welcome." Flat and final. No small talk, no wave. He rolled up his window and drove off, taillights glowing red until they dipped below the hill and vanished. I stood there a second, snow soaking through my boots, feeling like I dodged something I couldn't name. Back in the truck, I cranked the heat and waited, the engine idling steady now that I wasn't pushing it. My buddy was on his way, the tow truck too, but the minutes dragged. I flicked off the headlights just to see how dark it really was. Pitch black, the kind that presses against your eyes. I turned them back on quick, heart thudding, and tried to shake the unease. That guy's question kept echoing. "You out here all alone? Why'd he need to know that? Was he coming back?" I locked the doors, checked them twice, and told myself I was overthinking it. But the quiet felt heavier now, like it was hiding something. I'd been waiting maybe 20 minutes, scrolling through my phone to kill time, when it happened, a loud bang on the passenger window. I jumped, phone slipping from my hands, and whipped my head around. Couldn't see much, just a shape in the dark, a big black coat, hood up, pressed against the glass. "Open the door," a man's voice yelled, rough and frantic. "I'm freezing out here." My pulse raced, palms sweating despite the cold. He pounded again, harder, the whole truck shaking, and I saw his hands clawing at the handle. Locked, thank God. I grabbed my flashlight, shone it out, but it barely cut through, just glinted off the snow and that damn coat. "What's wrong?" I shouted, voice cracking. "I'm lost. Let me in," he screamed back, but there was something wrong with it, something cold behind the panic. I froze, gut screaming at me not to trust him, not to move. He kept banging, yelling, and I just sat there, paralyzed, every instinct telling me this wasn't some poor guy begging for help. It was a trap, and I was the idiot who'd walked right into it. I couldn't think, just reacted. I threw the truck into drive, foot slamming the gas, and he must have known I was done playing. He pounded harder like he'd break the glass, but I peeled out, tires spinning in the snow. The engine screamed, overheating be damned. I didn't care if it blew up, as long as I got away. I hit 30 miles an hour, maybe more, and glanced in the rear view. Nothing but darkness chasing me. Then, over the hill, I saw it. Taillights, red and steady, parked off the road. That Toyota. My heart stopped. I slowed down, window half down, peering out. Empty. No one inside. But there in the snow, footprints, fresh, leading back toward where I'd been. It was him, the guy from before. He'd come back, circled around, waited for me to crack. I floored it again, chest tight, mind spinning. He wasn't stranded. He was hunting me. I kept driving, snow blinding me, every shadow a threat. He'd played me from the start, knew I was alone, knew I'd panic, and I'd given him everything he needed. A few miles later, headlights cut through the storm, the tow truck rolling up like a lifeline. I flashed my lights, waved him down, and spilled it all to the driver, words tumbling out fast. He laughed, half joking. "Good thing I got here when I did." I asked if the guy might have had a weapon. Couldn't tell. I said it was too dark. "Then we better move quick," he replied, hooking up my truck in 15 minutes flat. That Toyota never passed us. Maybe he'd turned back. Maybe he was still out there, watching. I called my buddy from the tow guy's phone, told him to meet me at the shop instead. We made it through the weekend, snowboarded like nothing happened, but I sold that truck soon after. Couldn't stand looking at it anymore. That night, I didn't open the door, didn't roll down the window, and it's why I'm still here. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder, was he just some creep or something worse? And if I'd let him in, would anyone have ever found me? I don't drive those roads alone anymore. Can't, because out there in the snow and the dark, you're never as alone as you think.